Saturday afternoon. Is there any better time than Saturday afternoon? Work is over. Next week doesn't start for another day. Bliss. This particular Saturday afternoon, I found myself at the Gold Nugget, a massive flea market down by Lambertville. It was May, a hot May, 95 degrees, and I'm out walking my bald head across a desert of gravel, antiques, and wooden tables. But man, I would rather sweat under the heat of a blistering sun than under the scrutiny of my butt-clenching boss, Mr. Kofferman. So many unique things here. Some so strange I can't even describe. So I won't, because this isn't the important part of my story. Save one thing. This bizarre medical tool that I bought from an old man at a booth over by the woods on the far side of the antique oasis. Maybe it's because it was shiny. Maybe because I thought it would look cool on my bookshelf. I don't know, just something in me wanted it, needed it, for some reason. I'm not one to buy things like this, but I thought it would be a cool talking point if I had a friend over, or, God willing, a woman. Oh, that? That's my torture device. I use it for clamping people's mouths open so I can feed them foods they don't like. It's evil, I know, but sometimes people end up liking new things. And she'd be so amused by my offbeat charm that well, never mind. So I talked to the old man a bit, and I buy this thing, paid way too much for it, but I figured the guy was old and getting rid of his dead wife's belongings, and if I was in his position, I'd want to make some solid cash and escape somewhere for a while. He told me his wife was a nurse in the war, and used this device, supposedly to hold open people's mouths for a certain kind of surgery. Apparently it didn't get much use, but she kept it as a reminder of the people she served and lost. I just had to have it. Again, I'm not a collector of odd things, by far, but this I had to own. So about a month goes by, totally normal routine. Get up, go to work, head home, dinner, scotch, sleep, repeat. Every day. And then finally, I get a date. Steph. Just Steph. Don't call me Stephanie, my dad calls me Stephanie. Great. This night's gonna be awesome. Why do I always get the chicks with the daddy issues? I'll save you any suspense. The night ended with a mutual agreement to never cross paths again, which would be tough since she worked on the floor above me at the DMV. That's right. I have one of the worst jobs on the planet, a DMV associate. She gets to work up a floor where they deal with finances and frequently asked questions, while I get to deny people the ability to drive based on one missing document and receive more death threats than an abortionist. Just standard procedure. And my boss, a true all-American asshole, it's your job, Simon. Get it together. It's just standard procedure. That's all he ever says. It's just standard procedure. As if he never worked there a day in his life. As if he never had to deal with the shit I have to deal with day in and day out. I get this way. It's hard not to get this way. Angry, depressed, sunken. That's why scotch is a daily part of my routine. It puts the demons to rest. Puts me to sleep at night like a lullaby. But I know that it can be dangerous, so I limit myself. 2 glasses per night. Unless I work a double shift, and then I deserve more. Steph, didn't want to deal with that. She said she doesn't drink much. Doesn't see a need to. She likes her job and can't imagine why someone like me would be allowed to work in a place like that. Someone like me. Someone who would buy a malicious-looking medical tool and leave it on display, threatening anyone who asks about it. Obviously, she didn't get dark humor. That was a stressful and traumatizing experience. So it took a little extra to get to sleep that night. To calm my nerves. To relax. And not be so angry with her for being so stupid. Sorry, just standard procedure. Luckily, the next day was Saturday, and I could go roam the flea market again and clear my mind. So I finished my day, got a hard night's sleep, and woke up early. Maybe the old man would have something else interesting for me to therapeutically spend my cash on. But when I got there, to the little table by the woods on the far end of the lot, I was surprised to find it occupied by cars. Parked on top of it as if it was never a selling spot at all. I asked around a bit to the closest vendors, the ones within eyeshot of the booth. No one knew anything of it. That's always been parking as long as I've been here, and I've been here just about 15 years. This threw me for a loop. Maybe it wasn't registered and just set up by himself. Maybe no one noticed or cared because he was just so old and frail looking. Just let the old rat do what he wants, sort of thing, you know? Fine. I didn't need him. I didn't need any other crap to scare off women either. I was good enough at doing that on my own. No. What I really needed was a second chance. To prove myself that I'm not just some loser who gets reprimanded at work and scares away dates. So I went home to think. I walked around my apartment thinking of what to do, how to get my mood back in shape. But I was so distracted and uneasy. It was a hard week. And I was mad at my situation. So I poured myself 2 fingers of scotch to calm my nerves. And whew, that really did the trick. Now I was thinking straight. So I walked over to my shelf where I kept the medical instrument and I picked it up. You know, it kind of looked like a little alien. Hello, Simon. Why don't we get Steph back? That'll cheer you up. He had a point. I finished my glass, and while I paced my apartment, still fondling the instrument, I called up Steph, and I apologized for being negative, and I invited her over for a redemption dinner, and she agreed. After setting up a nice pasta dinner, tortellini with garlic, olive oil, mushrooms, fresh Parmesan, with a salad to start, I opened a decent red wine and tasted it, just to make sure it's not poison, and I set the table, I dimmed the light, and then she was here. I could tell immediately she was impressed. I mean, who wouldn't be? I did a slam-up job. This time, she would stay. Dinner was quiet, but you know what they say about good food. You know it's an excellent meal if people aren't saying much. I could tell she liked it. She didn't eat much, but I could just tell. The way she kept looking at me with these big open eyes. What a dream. And women don't really eat much anyway. We finished the wine quickly. I tend to lose track of how much I've had when I'm having a fantastic time, but I think we had the same amount. She seemed drunk. People love getting drunk at parties. And this was a party. So I threw on some music, some techno that I listen to when I'm pumped up, and I broke out the scotch. The good shit, not the bad shit. I mean, there really is no bad shit, but the better shit, the great shit. I wanted to impress her, so I told her all about the scotch that I liked and the scotch that I loved. She didn't want to try any at first. We started to argue a little bit, which was not great. I wanted her to try new things, to expand her horizons. She said she didn't like scotch, but she had never tried this kind, and I just knew that she would like it if she would just try. Just a sample to wet the whistle is all she needed. And she'd see. But she refused. And called me a drunk and a loser. Can you believe that? And told me, thanks for the dinner, but you have a problem and I can't get involved. She went for the door. But I wasn't gonna let her go. I needed my redemption. I needed to show her that I was worth it, so I got to the door first, and I locked it. And don't women just love a challenge? Don't they just love to have a man fight over her? To not back down, to finally win her over? She backed away. What are you doing? She was like, what's wrong with you? I'm fighting for your love. No, Simon. It's over. It's not over. It's not over! Simon. It's over when I say it's over! Simon, you're scaring me. We cross the room. Steph backing closer and closer to the opposite wall. What are you going to do? I just want you to try it. Listen to yourself. You'll like it. And you'll like me for showing it to you. You're psychotic. Just taste the fucking drink. And right then, she bumped her head into the shelf. And as if it was destiny, as if it was magic, the medical instrument fell flawlessly into my right hand. And I knew what I had to do. I'm sorry, Steph. My house, my rules. It's just standard procedure.